Welcome to my channel. Please enjoy the video.
What is going on, my tea sippers? I am back with another video. Well, it seems, tea sippers, that YouTuber and public influencer Larry Reid is being called out on some very, very serious allegations. However, I have absolutely been doing my research, and this man is unfucking believable. The victim was only 14 years old when his mom introduced him to Larry Reid and Larry Reid's congregation. And at that time, Lavontraye had no father figure in his life, so his mom thought sending him to the church would be a good idea. That way he could work up under Larry Reid. So they had a position for this young man in the church, and Mom thought that Larry would be a good male father figure for her son. Guys, I just wanted to lay out a timeline on this story. That way, once the receipts are brought forward, you can have a better understanding on what's going on. See, Larry Reid was a pastor of a church, and this young man, Lavontraye, was not his only victim. And it was also stated that Larry Reid had either a group home or some type of school for young boys. On January the 30th of 2020 at exactly 5:03 a.m., YouTube influencer and pastor Larry Reid posted on his Facebook page that he was molested in the 70s and that the church covered it up. Larry Reid went further into his message, y'all. He said not only that, the church at large has proven to be a great place for predators and criminals to actually hide and thrive. Larry then went on to say, I can't help but think about what is the accuser's motive. Then Larry Reid Live went on to say, I was molested by 6 family members and later in life intoxicated and violated. Larry Reid then went on to say that out of the 8 people that were involved in these events, only 1 person he confronted. Larry Reid Live then went on to say that convo and the convo with those that mattered in his life, along with his praying and fasting and counseling, was all he needed to heal and move forward. Larry Reid then went on to profess that the 2 people that actually hurt him as a child were dead and the others he never confronted. He says that he just had to heal and deal without any apology. He says that he never got any admittance or recognition. Larry Reid then stated, that didn't happen in the church, but the soul work I had to do is the same, so I am very empathetic. I got through many, many years, so I'm wondering at the age of 52. He says that he asks himself, what is it that you really want, and what are you really after? My. See, Larry came out within this message and said, we all know that Kojic Church has hid and done some stuff. Larry then went on to say that he thought that the Me Too movement culture could bear some watching because he thinks it's being undermined and manipulated at times. Larry Reid then went on to say, and maybe we shouldn't believe stuff so quickly without some substantial and supporting data. Just because we've seen it happen before doesn't mean that it happened with everyone. I just think we should be more objective when it comes to stuff like this, said Reid. Letting a criminal get away to harm others is the same sin that is making an innocent person a criminal to me, said Reid. And in my opinion, just by reading this paragraph that was written by Larry Reid himself on Facebook in the year of 2020, this just shows me how much of a liar and a manipulator Larry Reid really is. Now guys, YouTuber Larry Reid Live is facing those allegations today. And once this young man stepped forward as a grown man with a wife, he decided to tell his story on what Larry Reid done to him at the age of 14. And after this young man came forward to tell his story, Larry Reid Live had the balls to file a lawsuit against this young man. See, tea sippers, in the midst of this whole situation, it seems to me that Larry Reid Live is a chatty patty. He's actually dropped receipts and actually told on himself several times. And none of this is alleged because I do have some receipts. See, Lavontraye Andrews sat down with certain YouTubers and did interviews. He actually stated that Larry Reid Live told him he should never tell anybody what happened between the 2 of them. He even stated to this young man, if he did tell anybody, who do you think they're going to believe, me or you? Then the young man stated that Larry Reid Live also told him he would never, ever admit to it. And this sounds about right, because this came out of Larry Reid's own mouth. Well, tea sippers, let me share this receipt with you.
And I do not identify as gay. Have I sucked a dick? I have. I did not enjoy it. Have mine been sucked? Yes, and I actually enjoy that. I have actually sucked a dick. I did enjoy it because they were sucking mine so good, so I had to repay it. This is amazing. Because when you say this, and then when you say this right here, I understand if a pastor leader, teacher, and sleeping with a student or however. I understand that can get sticky. I get all of that. The situations that I've been in, as a pastor, as a mentor, I'm not proud of those situations, and I would never tell you. And if it ever came out, I probably would not answer to no lie.
Did you guys just hear what Larry Reid said? If it ever came out, he would never admit to it. And let's not talk about judging a person by their character. Because see, allegedly it was stated that this man is a whole married man. He has a wife and he has children. And this is the way he talks on his platform.
Come on in here. You ever done the anal and then it was clean, but then that last time you went too deep, and now on the tip of your peen is a little poo. It's a little doo-doo that's on the tip of your peen. Well, sometimes they say the love is in the doo-doo. Just wipe it off and then you get right on back to it. It can happen. So
My T-Sipper, so what do you think? See, just like Larry Reid stated, remember what Larry Reid said? Maybe we shouldn't be so quick to believe stuff without some substantial and supportive data. Well, what I just heard is enough to support for me to believe these allegations to be true. And not only that, T-Sippers, the victim has stated that he has had ongoing counseling. And however, I was able to share a little bit of what the victim had to say. But guys, before I go, I want to make sure that you like the video, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys on the next video.
Narrative that he's trying to push, that he's trying to really, it's been the basis of why he's saying everything I've ever said was false.
Well, brother, so before you get to the age thing, the people that don't know what's going on, whatever you're alleging Larry Reid has done, just let them know that before you get to the age thing. Let them know, because a lot of people, well, let me just open it like this. So I have a police report, right? I have a police report in front of me from Raleigh Police Department, right? And it says sex offense, forcible fondling, and this was filed in 2018. And the address is 3216 Oyster Drive, Olustee Drive. Now, my team, we pulled up the title documentation, the deed documentation, and this house was deeded to Larry Reid and his wife, Elisa Reid. So this police report, right? Can you tell us about this police report if you know anything about it?
Yes. So what I'll say with full confidence, nothing behind it. Larry Reid molested.
Oh, they didn't. I don't know if they heard you. Say it one more time.
Larry Reid molested.
Hold on. Sorry, brother. The phone just fell. One more. Sorry. Okay, say it one more time, brother.
Larry Reid, he for sure molested.
Wow.
And this didn't happen. I saw he was trying to say that. Well, I'll get to that in a second. But so the police report that's filed. So when it was filed, so when I first spoke to the detective, they had to give, and he needed me to give a physical address at the time. That was the only address I lived with him in a couple of different locations. So he moved around quite a bit on that time. And I lived with him at several different locations. And that was the only address that I could remember. This was years later. That was the only address that I could remember. Just off the top of my head. And I knew that it happened at that address. So that's why that address is on the police report. Mm-hmm. Getting to the age thing. So one of the other guys I talked to, it was a couple years ago, I did an interview with a guy, and he's talking quick. I said 14. I met him early 2006. I can't remember the exact month, but it was like January, February, March, somewhere in there, right? And from there that's when I met him. But the actual inappropriate behavior started maybe a few months after that. So the actual age, I want to make that clear. I was 15 when that happened. And he wants to push this narrative of me being 14 on it. But like the reality is, this man did something inappropriate with a teenager. a child.
So do you want to get into what he did, brother, really quickly?
In a nutshell, man, he molested me. So the ground of it is he basically manipulated me. And I said this on the other interview, but he manipulated me because of the father boy that I didn't have. I didn't have my dad at the time, and he knew I needed that voice filled. And the entire relationship, he gave it a spiritual basis. And the entire time he was preying on me because he felt like I could be easily manipulated. And so that's what happened. He started out real casually, and you tell you one of the clips with the underwear thing, and it just progressed from there, man. And hold on, let me speak to this real quick, man. The second clip that you played is crazy. I've never heard that clip. About the whole I've sucked dick before like that. I've never heard that. That's crazy. And so I've never heard him say that before, like on a platform. So just so I'm clear, right? Me personally, I've never performed any sexual acts on this cat. None of that. That wasn't what happened. What I'm specifically talking about are things that he did to me and gave it a spiritual basis. Like the entire reason for the things that he did with me, he gave a spiritual basis, saying it was his way of protecting me from being a version of myself that wasn't good. So he was like, he felt like I was going to be a womanizer, or I was going to be a gay male, right? And he would always have me come to him anytime I felt the urge to have sex, basically. And he would say, well, I'm going to help you through that process. And so he gave it a very spiritual context, right? And with me, because of the age that I was at, I wasn't able to fully understand what was happening. And now, my mind is more mature. I'm able to see it with 20/20 vision, man. He finessed me from the beginning. From the beginning, he was finessing me. And I'm just able to see that now, man. It's unfortunate. But I'm able to see it very clear now. And he just prayed on that whole not having my dad there, man. We would have very intimate conversations about that. He knew how I felt about not having my dad in my life. And he just used that to his advantage, man. At the time, he wasn't married. I think they got divorced I think it was like the second time. They got divorced and remarried like 3 or 4 times. I think this was like the second divorce. And he was even, talking to me about that. It was like, it was developing like this like father-son relationship. And so I trusted him, man. I just trusted him. And my naive nature at the time, and me just wanting that father figure and thinking that he could be that, it caused these things to happen, man. And unfortunately, this is what repeats itself over and over again in the church. Unfortunately, this is what it is, what we are now, man. So I just wanted to speak to that, the police report about the address. So with the address, the only reason that's the address on the report is because at the time when the first conversation I had with the detective, that was the only address that I could remember just off the top of my head. But just to be clear, that's not the only address that these things happened at. He lived at a house in Morrisville. Can't remember the name of the address. And like this happened more than one time. So this is interesting, man, that they're trying to take this one piece and like make that like a basis for why something isn't true, man. You just gotta use your mind a little bit, man. I also wanted to speak to, I saw recently he posted, I don't know if you know, it was a statement that he made. And in the statement, he said that he met me when I was grown. He said 3 guys, they were grown. And he said he met me when I was grown. I don't know why he's saying that, or why anybody around him is allowing him to say that, because I went to school. I was in high school when I lived with him. I drove his car to school. He's on if you pull up my high school records and see who was the people of contact on my contact list, his name was always there. So it's not possible for him to have met me when I was grown if he was on my high school information, like my contact information for high school. So I think he's just fishing, man. Is trying to just, because he knows what the truth is. He knows what the truth is. I can't say the people around him know what the truth is because they weren't physically there. But he knows what the truth is, man. And I don't know why. I do know why. It's in that clip that you keep playing. I understand, man. That's crazy. And this is where, if you understand Reid, man, because I was around this cat every day for years. If you understand that, if you listen to Reid talk long enough, you're gonna tell him something. And him saying that, whether anybody will acknowledge it or not, him saying that is his way. It's like an internal acknowledgement for himself. He won't ever say it out of his mouth because he has too much to lose now, right? He will never say out of his mouth. And it's also funny too, man. That clip at the end of that clip, how he says, if it ever comes out, I'll lie about it. I'm not even gonna tell you no lie. Something that he used to say to me, and this is how after I started to unravel these thoughts, man, these feelings that I was having. One of the things that I realized or remembered about during those times is something that he would always say is, you can't never tell nobody. Or he would say stuff like, if you ever told somebody, who they gonna believe, me and you? Or he would say stuff like, if you ever tell somebody, I'm gonna deny it. I'm gonna deny it to the jail closes. I think you say phrases like that. And with a mature mind, I'm able to see that you're rationalizing to yourself that this is something that you should not be doing. Like, you're not supposed to be doing it. And so you're saying this as insurance. You know what I'm saying? And it's just interesting. Every time I hear that clip, it's very interesting to hear him say that, because he's holding to that, man. He told me that he would deny it until he couldn't anymore. And it's so unfortunate, man, because him continuing to deny it, because of the space he's in, people are just gonna believe him, man. People are just gonna believe him, and it is what it is. Like he was even in that same statement, he was trying to suggest that I have unresolved conflict, and I'm upset or angry because he dropped me or something. I'm like, bro, it's to hear him speak like that, man, it let me know how much of a narcissist he is, man. I don't need this cat in my life. Don't want him out in my life. He's a clown, to be honest. He's a clown. He's a clown. He's a clown that found some money. And that's what it is. Like, he's a clown. We would never be cool. Like, separate from any of this happening. Who I am right now and who he is as a person, like, he's a goofball. Like, we would never be in the same room. And so it's just interesting that he would try to create that narrative, because when we stopped talking, I was the one that made the separation. I deleted his number. I deleted him off Facebook. I deleted him on Instagram. I don't follow. I don't know nothing that's going on with this cat. It's only time I know something's going on with him is when these type of scenarios present themselves. Other than that, this cat is not on my radar. I'm not even thinking about it. But this when these kind of scenarios happen, it happens. You know what I mean? But that's where I'm at, man. Let's see, I'll make sure I ain't missing.
Well, let me ask you this, right, brother? Because like I said, there's a lot of people that did not hear, because you said about the underwear thing. I know I heard what you said about the underwear thing, but if you can, because I know you said, what your allegations are, but if you want to, I don't want to push you on, but if you can just let them know about the underwear piece that I know that was one thing that you have brought up.
Yeah. So I'll speak to that real quick, man. Anybody that was around during that time that's familiar with this, man. It was like this culture. It's something that I wasn't familiar with at all, man. Like, before I met these guys, I was in a very interesting space in life, man. I had just started to get into, the street stuff. Like, I was joining gangs and doing a little weird stuff, right? And so when I met these guys, like they had this thing where they wanted to try to change me. And so they did, and they literally, man, I'm talking about threw away all, I had like 30, 40 pairs of sneakers, something like that, a bunch of shoes. They threw all of my sneakers away, threw all my clothes away, and it took me shot, right? Trying to like change my image. I need to be a cleaner version of myself. At the time, I was wearing these big clothes and, typical teenage stuff during that time. And, they on this whole let me change your image thing. And something that they seem to be overly conscious about are nail prints, like in your pants. And I'm not a print watcher. I wasn't then. I'm still not now. And it was just always weird to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like when you walking in your pants and your print is showing, like that's inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? That's how they would describe it. And I'm like, well, it was just really weird during the time. And I'm not the only one. I know anybody that was in the church at the time, man, he's probably bought underwear for any male in the church. He was very intentional about buying underwear for men in the church because he could see their print, right? No, that's I ain't even gonna go on that tangent. But so anyway, he the first time that I was with him, when it was just me and I, first time that happened, I was actually living around the corner from him, the Olusty 3216 Olusty. I was living around the corner from him at the time, and he came and picked me up on a Saturday morning, took me to Walmart. It was Walmart, and bought me underwear. He wanted me to try the underwear on, and inside of the Walmart. So I tried them on one pair, and I tried one pair on, and he was like, all right, well, they seem like they fit. So he said, we'll take the others back to the house and try them on in. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm still naive. It's weird to me, but because of who he is, I feel like I can trust him. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. So went back to his house, man, and was in his room at the time. Was he divorced to the time? I can't remember if he was divorced at this point or not. I can't remember.
What age were you at this time when this happened?
I was 15.
15?
I was 15, yeah. I was 15. And so he took me back to the crib, and he wanted me to try the underwear on, like in the room. So I'm like I said, I'm still like, I'm like, all right, I guess he was saying like he wanted to make sure that they fit and they were doing the job that they were supposed to be doing, I guess. I'm like, all right, so we went to the crib, so I put the underwear on. He was like, all right, so that's how they're supposed to fit. And so I'm taking the underwear off, right? And I'm trying to like put my clothes back on without putting my pants on. And he was like, this is how, like, it's like, so he was trying to make it like an educational moment. He was like, so this is how, as a man, this is how you're supposed to, your penis is supposed to hang. And he pulled his pants down. And when he pulled his pants down, it was he had the jeans on, blue jeans on, he pulled his pants down. And there was two things I noticed. He didn't have on underwear, and he had a erection. It was like not a full erection, but it was erect, right? And I looked up at him and immediately I'm like, what? Like, I didn't have the nerve in me to be like, yo, I didn't have the nerve in me at the time to just confront it. But immediately I noticed, I'm like, why is this nigga? Like, it was immediately weird to me. And so from that, what I now know is that he was testing the waters, man. This is a tactic. This is a tactic that predators do, man. They slowly see how much they can get away with. And that's how they're able to determine how much of a prey you are, how easy of a prey you are. They start slow and then they progress from there. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it happens.
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened.
Well, brother, I know you stated also, I don't know if you want to get into it, but I know you said that there's some other things that you never even said. So I don't know if you want to get into that, but I know you said there were some other things that do you have that you didn't say to anybody? Do you want to get into that, or?
We'll get into that later, man. It's a lot that I haven't said, man. A lot of it, when I was talking to my wife, man, a lot of this stuff, man, it's a blur. To be completely honest, man, like a lot of it is a blur. A lot of it I remember very vividly. And I think what's like, I know this now because of the counseling that I've done. Our minds, our brains have this. It's a way of self-protecting. When you experience something that was traumatic, our brains have a way of self-protecting. And that's what my brain has done over the years, man. Certain events, like anytime I talk about this, I start remembering more. Right? This is what was happening when I was having the conversations with Darryl a couple of years ago. As I was talking about it, things that I completely forgot about, I started to remember. And there's so many things, man, that I could go into that would you would be like, man, you ain't no way. Like, because at the end of the day, we're talking about somebody that's a pastor. And the things that I've seen, the things that I've experienced, like you wouldn't believe it, man. You would not believe it. So, yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that, man. Because I really, honestly, not because I'm afraid to talk about it. I just want to make sure I have all of my thoughts together. Because when you're recalling things from trauma, like it gets blurry. That's how when I first talked to Darryl and I said the 14 thing, that was a result of the trauma. Like I'm trying to recall everything that happened to me.